I want to do a quick demonstration of how to use the Paint Decoder. So when you start up the app, you get a little screen like this. Everything's sorted into color groups, so you can click on Add Group to add a new group. I'm going to do a quick demonstration. I'm going to use the colors that were published by the Smithsonian for the original Enterprise hull, just because I wanted to pick some colors, a color out there that we already had the codes to. So I'm going to name this Enterprise. I'll add a group, and I'll click on that. Now I have to add a color, and it's telling me to add a color. I'm going to call this hull. And now you have to enter the color. There's a couple options for observer and illumination. They didn't give those for this color, so I'm just going to assume this was a D50 illumination with 2 degrees for CIE. I'm going to do another video explaining what all this stuff means, but for right now, you have 3 options for entering colors right now manually. You can, well, you can use this to manually enter RGB colors. You can enter your RGB colors manually. You can enter XYZ colors, or you can enter the CIELAB colors, the LAB colors. That's what I'm going to actually choose because that's what a lot of colors are presented in. The colors for the Enterprise hull as listed on the site are 64.45. A is negative 3.53, and B is 2.4. Okay, and when you enter it in, you will see the RGB representation of the color, the approximation of it, and you click on Find Mix. And you'll come in here. It won't have actually mixed anything yet. You'll go down here and you'll select what paints you want to mix. Up here you can have our different collections. Right now in my app I have Citadel Air and I have Tamiya XF Flat. Hopefully by the time we release this we'll also have Vallejo model color. I'm going to do this in Tamiya. Now the app doesn't really react well if you select all paint colors. I give you the option, but if you select more than 10, it's going to bog down and take a long time to calculate the color. What I'm going to do is I have a couple shortcuts that you can save your own. You can make your own custom ones, but you can also choose primary colors and primary pigments. Primary colors are the primary colors that you would use normally in mixed paints. Primary pigments is what I've kind of selected as what I think are the single pigment paints, or as close to single pigment paints as possible. They make a good selection if you're just trying to get a color and you don't necessarily you don't mind using a whole bunch of different colors to get it. This will give some of the best results. So I'm going to choose primary pigments, and I'm going to go back. So now it shows here I have my collection is Tamiya XF Flat. My list is primary pigments. If I need to go back and edit my target color, I can go and I can change anything I want. Once you actually save a mix, you won't be able to edit your target color anymore, so that's something to be aware of. But I'll show you how that works. Okay, so I select the paint mix, so I say Find Mixes. So the app will take, depending on how many paints you selected, it will take different amounts of time to come to a solution. So the final solution it gets is presented here. The delta E is going to be how close your match is. What you're looking for is something that's less than 1. If you get something in, like I got 0.14, so that's a really good match. So that's something where once you're getting around 0.5, somewhere between 0 and 0.5, that's something where the human eye is not really going to be able to tell the difference. Once you get up to about 1 and maybe about 1 through 3, it'll be a color that's a good match. If you have the colors side by side, you'll see the difference. If you have to, say, you put one color on one side of the room and walk across to the other side of the room where the other color lies, your eyes will probably think they're the same color. About above 2 or 3, then we started getting into just bad matches. But this is a good match. So if I have a good match and I want to save it off. I don't want to lose that match. I can click Save Mix, and it says that mix has been added. And you can see it's down here, and you can click on that. And you can expand it, or you can close it. Now let's say I wanted to try it with my Citadel paints. So let's go back and choose Citadel Air. I'm going to choose all the paints because there's not a lot of the Citadel Air paints. I'm going to click that, and I will do Find Mixes. Takes a little bit. Comes back. Now it's got a really good 0.03. It's got a really, really good match for Citadel paints. And if I want to save that off, I can save that off. Oops, I'd already saved it. So now I have my two matches. It shows what paint selection I used. It shows what paint collection I used. Now, as I mentioned before, if you go up here to edit the target color, it'll give you a note. You can't actually edit the target color or change the target color because I didn't want to confuse people. If you change the target color and you have saved mixes, you know, the mixes no longer match the color. If you want to be able to edit them again, you can always come down here and swipe this, and you can delete the saved mixes. If I delete the other saved mix, we can go ahead and we will be able to edit the color again. And that's the basics. If you want to play around, like for example, if you say, let's go back and say we look at this one, and we see this is mostly yellow, green, sky gray, and flat white, and I want to get rid of the other colors. What I can do is I can select Paint to Mix, and I will go to Tamiya, and I'll go down to, what I'll do is I'll select None, so it deselects everything for me, and I'll select Flat White, I'll select Sky Gray, I'll select Dark Green, oh, it was not Dark Green, it was Yellow Green. I could select just those three paints and come back here and say Find Mixes. Now you can see here, it gives me a mix with just those paints, but now I'm further off. So this gives you the option if you don't have all the paints on hand, or it's a really wild mix where you have, like, you know, 200, 300 parts of something, but only 1 or 2 parts of other things. You can refine it a little bit, and you'll see you could do a mix like that, and it's going to be pretty close. It's not going to be exact or anything like that, but I mean you'll get a good mix. You'll get a good color out of it. So it gives you another option, and you can add paints and subtract paints and try different mixes. And I recommend using this as a tool as opposed to using it as a magic wand. You want to be able to play around with colors and get something you're happy with. And I really recommend doing test mixes, and I'm going to show you how to do the test mix in the next video.